a daddy Mac. Dance 30 years got our way, trading life and markets every day. Rusty's chained to the mines, digging deep day by day. But when Option Omega releases new features, he's free to come out and play. Option Omega, you're trading home, where every move makes you feel less alone.
Morning, everybody.
Morning.
Welcome. Missed you yesterday. I hope you celebrated Juneteenth with your families. I celebrated Juneteenth with Rusty. Went over to his house.
Oh, nice.
That's right.
And
Some tobacco.
Tobacco was involved, and
Yeah.
Tobacco was involved.
Had my pipe. Troy had a cigar, as one does.
Nice.
I do the same thing every time I go to Rusty's house. I just sit at his lap and just cry. He holds me. It's a good thing. So, Dan, how you doing?
Doing good. Glad to be here. Yeah. Yesterday it always feels weird that Thursday day off, right? And then you get, it's like last night, it's like it feels like some kind of weekend thing. So nice to get one more day here in the market and a full day. And
that's the one thing. I mean, listen, you don't have to be Republican, you don't have to be Democrat. I think we all agree as traders that there should be less days the market's closed.
Less days off, yes.
Right. All feast days should be closed. That's fine. But other than that, like any other holiday, like Memorial, I can't think of a better way to memorialize people than lose, thousands of dollars in SPX. So
sounds about right.
Yeah, that sounds about right. The market is bouncing. I mean, listen, I didn't play it, and so I can talk like someone who would have known exactly what to do. And that's the beauty of talking. But you saw futures. I think they closed at 1 p.m. and they were down 50.
Yeah.
And then the news came out roughly that like Trump's not going to make a decision for 2 weeks, allegedly. Well, whatever it opens up at 6, you could have just bought a call and you would have been fine.
Yeah.
But I don't just buy calls a lot. And so I didn't do that. But, there's certain times you can just see, especially, when there's low volume. Dan, I mean, did you ever notice that like on low volume days, the market would move more or less?
What sticks in my memory, and again, we're talking a long time ago, but again, just using for an example, the day after Thanksgiving, I used to always go in because, being married and have kids, I wasn't going anywhere. Whereas a lot of the single guys would use that to go on trips. So I would come in, but I remember a lot of time, it's going to be slow, but low volume. And I was sweating by the end it was moving. I mean, things were, because low volume, it could go both ways, right? You could say, well, it's slow, that, you hear the doldrums of summer and it's slow, but if there's low volume, that means you can move things. I remember there were some days like, wow, we're up a lot. And volume isn't really high. So I think, as traders, you have to be, you have to be ready to go at all times. I don't think you can make even people will say, and I get it, there's some truth to this, open interest. There's a lot of open interest. People will get into the open interest thing and they'll say, well, there's a lot of open interest at this strike, so it's going to act like a magnet. We're not moving on expiration. And I get it. There's a lot of truth to that. But I've been standing in the pit there when there was a lot of open interest at these strikes. And when the market, it's like the ocean. When the market wants to move, it moved. It didn't care that there was, 100,000 options there. It's suddenly moved. You know, the market makers are just a little pawn in the game here. You know, demand and supply kicks in. Things
It
can
is what
go. I think it's, yes, there's some truth to things like open interest. Yes, there's truth to holiday low volume, but be ready, because there's just, you know, don't take it to the bank. Just like Troy, you know, with the, I always screw up his name, Amin Taseb, the Tails guy.
Nassim Taleb.
Thank you. Nassim.
Close.
Yeah, there's a lot of true, you know, I mean, he's basically said, hey, don't trust the tails of the curve, right? And he's right? And I didn't have the data, but you don't have to ask any market makers who stood in the pit for a long period of time. I had to do the pit again because that's the meme, right? In the pit and the world-class back trade. Yeah. People stood in the pit for a long time. You didn't have to, you know, if you said to people coming out of the CBOE, even if they didn't even know what a standard deviation tails of the curve, if you said, does it seem like there's some big moves more? That yes, absolutely. Absolutely. You just say, you know, the waves definitely seem higher than the books tell you they should be. So pacer alert.
Breaking news.
Where are you? Oh, he's been abducted, I think.
He's been abducted.
He was freezing.
He shows up.
He was freezing in the moment of showing off his Pacers jersey.
I
wish he could have pulled the full.
I think the Thunder have abducted him. That's what happened.
Right.
Well, this is. Listen, to be honest, I mean, I love Matt. This is right where I wanted him. Right where he's at right now. So I got him right here. Matt, you don't have any problems if we show a bunch of tests without any slippage or anything.
Yeah, no Punisher at all. We decided to get rid of it. It's out of the app, actually. Yeah.
He seems fine with it.
Oh, look at the smile. He's so happy.
He's good with it. He's good with it. Yeah. Hey, Matt, do you care if I take all disclaimers off and I actually say this is financial advice?
There he goes.
All right.
I see nothing but thumbs up. Yeah.
That's right. It seems good to go. Okay. Well, we have.
Oh, you scared him off. Yeah, he's crying now. That's what we said. Yeah.
That's fine. All right. Well, if he hops back on, I would love to have him in a different pose for a couple seconds. So, listen, we've been talking small account challenge. We have been looking this week at 2 trades called in progress DCs, and one of them a 728, and one of them's a 1028. And I want to look because our boy Walker, Texas Ranger, has come through again in the end here. So I'm going to look at these. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. He is up the mar in both of these. And so Walker 1215, shout out Walker 1215 in the chat. This is a 1028. Okay. We've looked at this and he's done a couple different things. He's more or less kept everything the same, except for instead of 15 delta on the put and the call, he changed the call to a 20 delta, so moved it up a little bit. And he made the exits. He's okay with going past the strikes a little bit more. That's what this test is doing. So in this case, he's okay going 11 points in the money on that strike, 7 points in the money on that strike. Same thing. Min long is 0.3 to get into it. So you want some premium on those fronts. You know, you don't want it to be dead going in. You don't want to just buy a long strangle. And so it's interesting. I mean, it's interesting that it improved it by, I would not have guessed allowing it to go that farther out is okay. But I guess for a 1028 in this situation, you've got theoretically enough time for it to revert. That's my theory on it. Guys, what do you think of this? And just so you guys know, is they're like, well, don't they have thoughts on it as they look at it? One of my secrets is I don't show them anything until the show's live.
There's not a lot of prep here. There's not a lot of prep. My first thought is it's interesting that it's skewed more toward the down than the upside. I wonder if that. Let's see. This opens every day. See, a lot of my DCs that are this far out, because the markets tend to drift upward. I personally kind of want a little bit of a bullish skew, but I understand. I mean, it's a good mar. It's a good capture. I mean, the capture rate's really good. I like getting 10%. It's hard to argue with the test where you're winning 60% of the time and your winners are double your losers. I mean, if you gave those odds to like a bookie, I mean, anybody would be thrilled with those odds. It's a good test. I don't know. I mean, I like it. There's a good chunk of time between the shorts and the longs there.
Yeah, you good
A lot
to
of theta.
Yeah, good. I mean, you're probably leaning, from a Greek's perspective because you're doing a 20 delta call, 10 delta put, or 20 delta call, 15 delta put, maybe a little bit long, Vega, which you normally want to be. I mean, normally if you're long Vega, I say they teach you in the Fire Academy, you want to be a little bit long delta. If you're short Vega, a little bit or I'm sorry, if you're long delta, long Vega, short delta, short Vega, opposite effects on one key. And as far as it in the money, I think Rusty alluded to, with you've got quite a bit, a little bit more range than you would think that you would let this thing go once it goes in the money. But again, you're holding this for 15 days. I mean, the only thing I would test just to see, when I've done stuff like this, maybe this type of 10 versus whatever, I mean, sometimes you could get up 15% in a day or 2 days. And so the only thing I would be thinking, would you want to scale? What we're talking before the show, it would be time. What was it? Or Matt and not Matt, Rusty and Troy, something like if you had 10 of them on, maybe at certain elements, you could go out because this is still a lot of theta when you're doing 10 days versus 28 days. But yeah, I mean, you're going to get a high probability because the deltas are so low, good winning percentage. Are you surprised I would have thought, but this is where the data comes in, Rusty and Troy, the max drawdown -7%. I would have thought because you're leaving it on so long, there's more of a chance to move. I would have thought the max drawdown might be more. What do you think? I mean, that seems pretty good. I would have thought it would have been because you're saying you're basically letting it ride, aren't you?
I mean, you've got a really long. If you're letting it go past 11 points, you're letting it ride a little bit. But maybe the theory is that long is so far out. Usually, if something's happening in the because you're going to be in this theoretically. I mean, you're in this a third of what the total trade could be. So if this trade is 28 days, you're going to be in this trade, 9-10 days.
Sure.
And so theoretically, there's enough time for it to go back that your premium is even that far past the short strike. It's still being juiced a little bit on that move, and you're still burning theta on the front end.
Yeah,
and it gives you enough time to get out at least.
Right.
Yeah. No, I like that. I'm not used to staying in this type of a trade that long, but I like the data on it. And it's
well, and Joseph just made a good point. I just ran this again. If you take the strike offsets off, which I mean, I don't see why you would take the strike offsets off, but if you wanted to, it bumps up the trades a lot. You get a lot more trades.
Oh, okay.
If you do
that,
that,
goes a
which
bit
one
more.
are you taking off? Strike offsets or exact DT? I guess both are off now.
Yeah, strike offsets. I didn't have DTE on because I really don't care about that. Like, I don't care personally if it's a 9 or an 827.
He escaped.
Some technical difficulties
in the house.
been captured by the Thunders.
The Thunder tried to take him back to OKC as a
They
ransom.
tried to get me.
Yeah.
They tried to get me. I had to go make sure that, Indianapolis, such a crazy place. Nobody rioted after the game last night. Didn't burn anything down. We're good. Everybody's good. I came in the middle of a back
to be
test.
fair, there's
what are we
usually
looking
no
at?
riots when there's still like a game left in the series.
right.
Well,
You've never been to New York
Philadelphia,
or Philly, or
Yeah,
They
anywhere on the
riot
West Coast?
in the middle of the series? That doesn't make
Bro.
any sense.
So-
You got to
Phil-
burn it down after the series is over.
Philly will tear a flagpole down, win, lose, or draw. Yeah. Well, congratulations, Matt. I just want to say this. Congratulations. That's a huge win. That was a must win.
I played hard.
Yeah, you willed it. You willed it. And so when's game 7? Sunday night?
Sunday night,
Sunday
season's over. This is the last Pacers shirt of the year. Will be worn on Monday. Win, lose, or draw.
I
Then
still
we're back
refuse
to
to believe.
OO shirts.
I refuse to believe that you will not have a Pacers championship shirt.
Oh, that's true. That's true. That's true. I have the
Yeah.
shirt ready for Monday. It's right there. I'm not going to
Okay.
show it.
Okay.
Not gonna
Maybe
show
there'll
it.
be.
Yeah, you can't jinx it. Come on, man.
One quick comment on that, Matt. I was just saying, as I was listening to the NBA on Series Radio with Brian Scalabrine, and
Yep.
I saw they finally have come around. This is coming into the 7th game. They said from the 6th game, they finally have discovered what you've been talking about for a while is there's 10, 11 guys here
I know.
that they're like, okay, so you stop this one.
Listen.
O'Connell goes off, or
Last night was as close as they've come to playing peak ball, and they were still not. They weren't at peak. There's another level. I'm just saying. I don't know if they'll get there.
is
There's only
Halliburton
one game
okay? Is
No,
Halliburton-
he's hurt. He's been hurt since. Listen, this is a whole
Is that
separate
why he's been
podcast.
choking?
Ooh.
That was too easy.
He's-
Joy understood what I
mean-
just did there. The smirk.
Wow.
So the Pacers have a history of him playing seriously hurt and not admitting it. So I'll just say
Wow.
that. But yeah, he shouldn't be playing, but it's the finals. So
I don't want to
whatever.
hear it. I don't want to hear it at this level. Like I was playing basketball.
Listen, I'm not. He played. I don't know what you want me to say.
Listen, my girlfriend would break up with me. I'd be out there on the court, heartbroken. You talk about playing hurt.
Yeah,
about
that
playing
is.
He played hurt.
You fought
Yeah.
through it. You fought through
Yeah.
it big time.
Well, and I
Joy's
mean,
got the heart of a champion. Everyone
did
knows
it
that.
ruin my career? Absolutely.
It
Did
was
I do
worth it though.
It was worth it. No, listen, go Pacers. I really do think there could. I mean, this is a special thing if they win.
Historic.
Historic. I really do think we should consider some special edition Option Omega Morning Show Pacers gear, Pacers championship. Yeah,
Listen, the colors are close too. The gold.
It
Yeah,
is.
It is blue collar, gold swagger.
Hey, chat, listen, hit that like and subscribe if you want special edition Pacers gear that will cost us about $70 a shirt for a special run. You let
And
us
could
know.
get us a
Chat.
could get us a letter from the legal department.
Yeah,
for
we might get in
infringement.
trouble.
Anyway, listen. All right,
Well,
back
listen,
to
you
the-
weren't here
back
to
the-
talk. All legal bets are off now, Matt. We went crazy. It was
Okay.
We had a screenshot of you basically in the car being like this. So I would ask you questions like, Matt, are you okay if I just take all disclaimers off? And you'd be like, and I was like, I love,
Nailed
yeah.
it.
no
I love that.
Punisher. Yeah.
So, okay. All right, let's keep moving. So this is the second in progress test we've done. Shout out Walker 1215. This is the 728. So we had a 728 and a 1028. This is the 728. It is still a 15 delta, but he made a couple trades or one big change. He lets the put ride a little bit more. So instead of 5 past, he'll go 9 past. The same
And,
concept.
and it's 15 delta rather than 20, right?
That's right. That's right. So, this is costing you a little bit more because the time difference. But, you're going to get 20% a lot of times, 38%, 25%. The winners are going to be bigger than the losers, which I have heard is a good thing to have
It's good.
happen to you.
It's also good when you win more than you lose, and you can combine those
Yeah.
different metrics.
That's how we make good Mars.
There
And he
it
makes
is.
good sense with the put tested -9 versus call 5. Obviously, with the Vega volatility increase on the downside, you can get away with more room to the downside. So that's a great tweak. But would you say what's his name? Marshall what?
I know him as Walker 1215, aka Walker Texas Ranger.
Okay.
Shout out Walker Texas Ranger.
Oh, Walker, isn't that with who's the karate guy? Walker.
Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris. That's right.
Yeah.
Don't get me
That's
going, Chuck
Chuck
Norris.
I know.
Yeah.
You're right, Dan. Though I like that. Yeah, giving it more room on the downside because you get more vol ramping on your longs, right?
Yeah, and
So we haven't done this yet on the show,
There
but I
it
thought it'd be
is.
fun to do it.
Troy,
Why
what's a
not?
portfolio? What is a portfolio even?
Matt, I'm thankful you asked. Option Omega allows you to combine tests and see what would have happened to those tests if you ran them together. It's that simple. And so one of the dreams we had when we started Option Omega, I would tell Rusty, is like I can't find any other place where I could combine two different strategies. And at the time when we were launching, like my thought was you have like some good trades and then you have some hedges, right?
Mhm.
Well, you can't really, it's really hard to measure how good a hedge is unless you run it with the other trades you're doing to see what would happen. And that's really where portfolio came from. Shout out Rusty for being able to do it and architect it, because it's a hard problem to solve. I mean, it was one of the early victories we had. We worked really hard at it because, it wasn't out there. And to this day, I don't know if there's a lot of people that can do it. Maybe there are other people that can do it now, but
Well, yeah, the dream is alive. You have some good trades and then you have some hedges. I mean,
that's right.
Hey, you just described a portfolio. I love it.
Mm-hmm. So this is if you ran those two trades together, and you're starting with a capital of 5,000. Now, remember, I want to be open with you guys. This is a safe space. I can be vulnerable with you. This is, I'm never going to call you family. This is a pet peeve of Rusty and I's for all the years of working in a corporate office where they're like, hey, fam. Or like, I'm not your family. I'm not your family. Anyway, so
friends.
Definitely friends, and maybe even friends for life. But
a family doesn't get bought out by private equity. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, but we're not bitter. We're not bitter. We're just anyway.
That's reference to a past life, maybe.
Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah, not about. That's about. Well, anyway.
Yeah, you're gonna scare the children if you do that. But okay. So these are the two tests put together. What I was gonna say is, when you're testing this, there are caveats to this, and so there's a risk of putting capital this small for this type of trade. And what is it? Well, if a trade requires $700 to $1,000 per trade, you're running out of capital a lot sooner. And so that is a sequence risk. So what I would do in that case that you could test, I mean, this is one way to do it, okay? There's a lot of different ways you can do this. But let's say we're going to start with $1 billion.
Cheapers.
Okay. Yeah. I don't play.
1 quadrillion.
Yeah. And we're going to say, we're going to advocate 100%. No, we're not. We're not going to do that. We're going to do,
don't cap it. Don't cap the contracts. Do like 25% each or something.
Well, if you can put multiples on, do 5% each, and that'll make sure you have all the trades. Yeah. Is that what you're trying to show?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was showing.
Because you're getting them daily. Yeah.
And we're going to run this. And this is going to give you a bigger picture of like what you're going to be able to see all the trades that would, because you might miss some trades in the 5,000. Does that make sense? Like if you're putting one trade on and
yes.
and it can open every day, you can only have like 4 or 5 days worth of trades on.
That's right.
It sure does.
So it's going to skip.
And while we're doing that, we got a question. What is the exact offset? That is simply a function in the back test to make sure that
platform.
Yeah, and the automation platform as well, to make sure that the strike selected is available. And you can go ahead.
The child strike. Well, so it's more specific that it makes, like when you have, let's say you're a double counter where you're anchoring your shorts at like 20 delta or 15 delta, it simply means if I choose a long that's the same strike. Exact strike offset means if you say plus or minus 0 and there's not, because sometimes those strikes don't exist.
That's right.
Well, if you don't have that, it's going to diagonalize it, which is a very different trade. That's why I usually have those kinds of things on, because I don't, if you want to test a diagonal, but if you're trying to test a double counter, you want the strikes to be the exact same, right? If you're selling to 20 delta, then you want the long to be the exact same strike. Anyway,
And
that's
also has ramifications for credit spreads, debit spreads,
Yes.
butterflies as well. So
if you're trying to fix your like your risk at like 50 wide on
That's right.
SPX, and if you don't have that on, it could go to 55 if there's not a 50.
Yep. And
strike
you can
50.
read more about it in the documentation, docs.optionomega.com. Troy, how'd this portfolio turn out?
Well, I think pretty good. I mean, I'm just not gonna say,
I mean,
not-
8% capture rate, like over a couple years,
Yeah.
through a variety of markets. I think a lot of funds or organizations would be
I think
decently happy, huh?
I think anytime someone says, "How's your trading been going? Have you made any money?" and you say, "I made 8,4,795,000, 6,000," you'd be happy, And so
That's right.
all you have to do is start with $1 trillion. But the idea stands that these are good trades. Again, it's not financial advice, but these are good back tests.
Mhm.
It's backward looking. So historically, these are good trades. And so we've talked about this. It's good. It's worth hitting home with the small account stuff, because you can have something and you can start with a small amount of money. And we're advocating one contract right now because we think if you have 5,000 in account, it's appropriate sizing. It's appropriate sizing. But the goal is to not cap your contracts. The goal is to be able to use percentages. It's just that it's a function of time. I'm giving you a heads up. I'm helping you save time by saying just cap them until you get to more money. And maybe that more money is 10,000 or 15,000 or 20,000, whatever it is. Whatever, you have to look at your portfolio and determine, okay, what is the appropriate sizing for this at that point? And my premise for all this, and I'll say it till the day I die, like most people, when they start trading, they always start oversized.
Yes.
And even if they don't start oversized, they start super small, they win a couple times, and then they say, "Oh, it's time to up it." I'm sure Dan, this is all Dan talks about.
Well, in the big thing is, it's just what you're doing is you're trying to. It's the only thing you have is you're teaching someone in the game, like Troy's the new show. What's it called with the boys? The new. Yeah.
Options with the boys.
I like.
There it is.
But the only thing
the boys are back in town.
Yeah, I like that. The only thing you can do to make sure the boys stay in business for 6-7 months, the biggest thing you have as someone teaching them is keep their size under control, because it is, people come out of the gate and they want to do this and do that. They have no idea what they don't know. And so, but if you can get them to 6 months, right, without blowing up an account, and the only way is just keep the capital small, because it's just such a crucial.
Well, if I know one thing about the boys in general, is they overestimate their size, and I'll leave that for what you'll do with what you will. But anyway, I agree, and so I think starting small, and even when you think you're ready, staying small is a really, really good way to trade. And you hear Mark Anderson, you'll hear people in the community that do a really good job. They are not putting 20% in a trade. Like, just accept that.
Yeah. To that point, Taleb, like various people from very different parts of the ecosystem talk about this. Taleb talks about that, about the goal is survival. Peter Klink in our interview with Peter from Tasty, which is on the YouTube, talks about that a little bit too, about you have to stay in the game, you have to survive. And there are asymmetrical upside opportunities with options, but to get those asymmetrical upside opportunities, you have to have an account, you have to stay in the game. So the sizing at the front and making sure that you don't oversize is, I think it's something most people that are still doing options that have done it for a while. I think everybody I've talked to about it has said I did that at one point, including the man in the mirror.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson is not in the options game anymore, Troy. So he doesn't follow the example.
You
Too
said the
soon.
man. You said the man in the mirror, and I thought
Talking about the man in the mirror.
you talk about the man in the mirror.
Talk about the man in the mirror who's oversized before. He's done it.
And one last thing, and if someone said, okay, when is a good time to increase your size? I always tell students, I just say, if you haven't had some good adversity, right? The worst thing is students come in, like, think about if you had people come in to OO and doing double calendars the last month and a half or month, they'd be like, hey guys, I just sold my house. I'm going to put everything in. I'm all in. I'm selling my kids. I'm selling, it's just, but you can't lose on these things, right? No perspective, but if someone's going to increase the size, I always say, you need to go through some adversity before you increase. Let it go against you. Let the market go against you and see how you do. Because if you're making money and just because the market's not moving a lot or vols are going your way or whatever it is, that doesn't mean you have a clue what you're doing, right? Or you should be in front of the pilot seat or whatever. Oh, one last thing I want to say on the strike offset you guys were mentioning. I'll tell you, I haven't seen that in a long time. I have more trades that get screwed up, especially like doing diagonals or something where you use the 5 strike. I mean, it's just, you got to be I'm finding that a lot now. You think it's just because the market's been going up and you're getting less.
It's happened a lot this year. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a day, it's been a month now, but we had a day, and I think we talked about this on the show, where SPX finished between strikes. Like it was around, there was a 10-point gap. There wasn't a 5-wide strike, and SPX, if it didn't finish there, it was really close to it because we had gone up a couple percent, and the market makers, I guess, I don't know why they didn't make a strike there, but it's especially common on Thursdays still. Like Thursdays are still the most common day. There's a lot of Thursday strikes that just like somehow they're not there. So to the point, I mean, the platform is flexible in that you can do it either way, but it can change what you're doing if
it's a different trade.
It's just a different trade. So it doesn't mean it's bad. Might be better. Might be worse. It's different though.
I have two quick things. A couple weeks ago, we looked at a DC on a 0.6% move up in Qs.
Remember? Yes.
I haven't had one fire yet because the strikes aren't there, because I don't have strike offset removed. And so it's just going to try to fire, and it just can't find the strikes.
Even in the Qs, you would think there's enough strikes.
I know. It's weird. The other thing, especially the longer dated one, is the problem. But 2, Rob says, first rule of gambling, no bet over 1% of total amount you are willing to lose. For those who are interested, we are going to have a special guest next Thursday on the OO show, Mr. Rob of Rob and Maria. He's going to be coming back up. He's going to be coming on.
Breaking news.
That's right. And talking about, because Rob's got he got into options in an interesting way. And I talk about this in the options with the boys. We've got some people who have bought stock, some people who've played Robinhood, and some people who gamble in sports. And I told them, I have a feeling the guys who gamble in sports are going to pick some of this up in an interesting way, in a way that other people don't. So looking forward to that. Next Thursday, guys, set your alarm clocks. Rob of Rob and Maria, and who knows, maybe Maria, maybe not, but that's okay. Either way, is going to be coming on, and we'll talk about, I mean, really, how do you play or fade the Pacers in the market next year? I would love to talk about that as well.
Wow.
So
too early. It's too early.
Anyway, so guys, listen, great Friday. Rusty, thanks for joining us as always. You can head back down now. Head back down to your
grab your pick
and get
shovel
my hat on.
and a hard hat.
Yeah.
Hard hat. And listen, happy trading, and we will see you guys Monday. Have a good weekend.
Happy Friday.
See y'all.